What is up, everyone? Welcome into the Early Edge Live special show today we have for you for Thursday, NBA Finals Game 2. Want to welcome all of you in. Make sure that SportsLine, the promo code EDGE. Get your first 30 days of SportsLine for free. All the expert picks and SportsLine's patented simulation model is at your fingertips. After the first month, you'll be playing with house money. You know the rules. Make sure follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, you can win a year-long subscription to SportsLine. Right now, that runs you about $100. We're giving you a chance to win that for free. Make sure you include your Twitter handle or Instagram handle in the chat. Follow SportsLine on those platforms. That's all you got to do. Now, let's not waste any time. Let's bring in our experts. Let's bring in the guys. Let's make some picks. Let's talk about it. First up, Larry Hartstein, the maestro. Larry, how we doing, buddy?
Great, Allan. Good afternoon. Great to see Maddie. Great to see Amir. Let's do it.
Attaboy. Yeah, absolutely. Matty boy, Matt Severance, you're on fire, buddy. Good to see you, man. How we doing?
Not so good since the Dodgers won by 5. But other than that.
Hey, it's all right. You know what? We live for more picks tonight, all right? That's what we do.
I don't know if you could have a bigger dichotomy of energy between Allan Bell and Maddie's opening. But,
we'll just find that nice mix, like right in the middle. All right, I'll tell you what. I think we found it, exactly who it is. Let us all welcome Amir Tyree. He is new to SportsLine and CBS Sports. He is our NBA expert, formerly of DK Live. Amir, how we doing, buddy? Good to meet you, man.
Doing good. Happy to be on the show for the first time. I'm a rookie, so I have to get my backgrounds on the levels of Larry and Matt. So hopefully I get that set up at some point. But yeah, definitely happy to be here. Happy to talk some basketball.
Absolutely, man. We're glad to have you. Welcome to the team. And look, it takes a little bit of time. Look at Larry. I mean, that is a professional setup. Matty boy's looking great back there as well. Yeah. I say, look, yeah, he's got the Bears helmet, got a nice U t-shirt on as well.
And the dog.
Look, yeah. See, we're bringing in Pens here too. You can't beat it at all. So, everybody, let's make sure you know the rules on this show. We want to give away free year-long subscriptions to SportsLine. We get 100 likes, we give 1 away. 200 likes, we give 2 years away. 300 likes, we give 5 years free. Let's make sure, let's hit all of those. We are going to get there. We want to give these subs out. Look how excited Larry is to do that. But while we do it, make sure, leave us comments in the chat. Let's talk all throughout the show. We want to know who you're playing, what your picks are, what you got, what you like from us, what you hate from us, all of it. Put it in the chat. But let's get to it. We got a big one tonight. NBA Finals, Game 2, Bucks at Suns. We got a spread of the Suns. It's 5.5, hovering roughly around there.
I got to stop you, Allan. It's fallen to 4.5 at many books, including William Hill, our partner. Definitely seeing professional money on the Bucks. Go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No. I'm glad you did. Even better. So we see that falling. The total, 220.5. We've seen it jump. I believe it opened at 219.5. And we saw that, I think last night it went to 220, and then today 220.5. So yeah, again, somewhere around that area. But we've got a massive one, and we're going to break that down. We're going to talk about it. First, let's make sure that we update everybody on the morning podcast plays. Mike McClure, he's got Chris Paul over 21.5 points tonight. He had a play on the Dodgers and Marlins. We'll jump past that one. Justin, we'll let him break those down. Yeah, he's got Rockies, Diamondbacks over 9.5. Blue Jays on the run line, 1.5. Twins, Tigers over 9.5. Larry, you're big on Keegan Akin with the the Orioles.
I gotta stop you there because that pitcher Aiken was scratched for the Orioles. That play is off, but I'm on Danny Duffy on the Royals under 5.5 Ks, and we are off to an 0-2 start. I will say because we lost a sight play and then we lost a underplay on the Marlins. Collapsing against the Dodgers. So just on the record, nothing to hide. It's an 0-2 start.
That's perfect cleanup right there. Yeah, and the Jewelers Gym. Rockies, Diamondbacks over 9.5. Blue Jays, run line 1.5. And the Suns, 5.5 on the spread. So let's get right to it. All right. We've got this game. Got your thoughts. Larry, I'm going to kick it to you first. All right. Where is your initial just head at? Where are you at with this game? Break this thing down of just the computer numbers that you run in your head. What are you thinking about tonight?
Well, I had to enter my pick on SportsLine early because I was the designated expert on this game because I have a good streak with the Suns. So I was on the Suns, but I really wish, I mean, there's a guy in the comments, I believe it was Luis, saying he could get 4 now, lay 4 with the Suns. I had to lay 5.5, as my official play on SportsLine. I still like it. And I'll tell you why, the Bucks, they made 16 3-pointers. The Suns did not shoot well from beyond the arc. Kyle Aikens, one of our experts, had a trend that shows teams that make more than 13 plus against a team that made less than 13 plus, 5-17-1 against the spread in the next game of the NBA Finals, which basically points out that, the Bucks shot well and they still lost by double digits. The Suns, though, got to the free throw line 10 more times, and they made 25 out of 26 free throws. So that's something that could regress a bit. For me, it's just a matchup situation. I think the Bucks have a real quandary. How are they going to defend if they put in Lopez? We saw what happened. They had to take him out of the game in the third quarter because Chris Paul just annihilates that drop coverage. And if they're going to switch, he's going to find the mismatch. And then if they go small, which I think everyone expects, with Giannis at the 5 and PJ at the 4, I think that's when DeAndre Ayton can take over. So I'm going to go with the Suns, 11-3 run against the spread at home. And I think they can play even better than they did. I know Jay Crowder can play better than he did for one.
I like it. Severance, what are your thoughts, buddy?
I'm also on Phoenix. Like I said, I'm usually a money line guy if it's below 200. I just take the bad beat out of it. I don't trust Mike Budenholzer. I mean, he didn't adjust well in the 2019 East Finals against Toronto. They started clogging the lane against the Freak. They lost them. They won the first 2, then they changed up, lost the next 4. Last year and against Miami, before the Freak went down, they were getting dominated. He never changed anything. Of course, they got beat once he was out. I just don't know that he's that good of a coach to change. I've been reading, everything like ever. In fact, I wrote a news story today about they're gonna maybe not play Lopez, maybe move Giannis to the small ball 5, Connaughton to the 4, which will lead to a prop pick later. I just think it's a matchup problem. And Drew Holiday does not play well with Giannis for some reason. He's awesome. He's back to an all-star level when the Freak's not playing. But I don't know. It just didn't seem like a fit. So I'll be on the Suns, but I'll be waiting until the last minute. Hopefully even drops even further.
I got you. Amir, it's still to you, buddy. What do you see?
Yeah. I was on Suns minus 5.5. The first game, when I initially laid this out, I said 5.5, and then obviously it started going down since then. One thing, just going into game 1, the Suns covered more games at home than any team in the NBA this year. So then when you add that Giannis isn't necessarily at, who knows what to put his percentage at? Is he 85%, slowly working back? A big part of that was him being listed as doubtful coming in. Then he sped up to questionable, then ultimately being ruled in, which definitely, I think after seeing the switches and the adjustments that the Bucks are going to make, if you watch any Milwaukee basketball, that that typically Budenholzer does not do a great job. He's pretty stuck in his ways usually. I think they can cut down some by getting not having like Chris Paul on Bobby Portis kind of switches and Brook Lopez kind of switches. I think you'll see a lot more of for stretches during the other game, we had Chris Middleton on Jay Crowder, which is not like an ideal matchup. So if you don't have those kind of switches where you're getting Brook Lopez on an island with Devin Booker and things like that, that's part of the things that goes into the free throw disparity. So I definitely still think that just having to make all those adjustments while also trying to keep the offense, because playing like PJ Tucker and having to lean on more guys like maybe Pat Connaughton, who are going to be more of like the switchable kind of players for the pick and roll. I just think the offense isn't going to be there because, Phoenix they played through every scheme defensively and they're comfortable where they are on offense. Obviously, they did that all year. It's why they finished way at the top of the Western Conference. So, yeah, I'm also sticking with the Suns.
Nice. All right. So you've got 5 plays that you're putting out for the show today. I want to hit your first 2. All right. So you've got a play on the spread and you've got a play on the total, right? What are those 2? What are you going with?
Yeah. For the spread, obviously I'm going with going with the Suns. And then for the total, I did play the under before for the first game, which is also, I think it opened at like 219.5, and it's back just a little bit higher this time. I'm staying with the under again. Just one thing, I think just the free throw disparity was just so crazy when you look at that 9 made free throws that 9 made free throws mark, and then looking at the 25 of 26 for the Suns is just like, I don't think we'll see something like that again. When you look at them, like they didn't cover by too many points. They won by 13, made 16 more free throws. So, and that plus the defensive adjustments of the Bucks, maybe not necessarily letting their bigs get played out of the game. I think getting a couple points under. I think it could be cutting it close, but I think that the changes, and then just closer, smaller disparity between free throws is gonna make all the difference in that one.
I like it. Now we're gonna get you to your three prop plays here in a minute. Obviously, everybody can see that on the screen, but we're gonna talk about props here in just a second. What I want to do is focus back on this game as a whole. Okay, so we saw game 1, Suns win 118-105. All right, we saw the Suns take advantage in the first half. I believe they covered in the first quarter. The spread was 2. I believe in the first half, the spread was 3. Do we see the Suns take advantage of that again in the first half? Because we've seen what the Bucks have done all year long, arguably a better first half scoring team. So do we see, just a better start, for Milwaukee? And again, I know it's kind of an arbitrary question. We're not even playing it in terms of, betting the first quarter, betting the first half. I'm just talking about kind of the psychology of what we expect to see tonight. Larry, your thoughts. Do we see a better, faster start for Milwaukee in game 2 than we did in game 1?
Well, they actually started quite well. I think it was in the second quarter, late second quarter, where it started to get a little bit away from them, and it ended up at 8 at halftime. But I believe, well, you're right. It was 4. It was 4 at the end of the half. I mean, I think, the team that loses is I don't want to play the Suns in the first half or the first quarter. They've been great coming out after halftime and with the home crowd. And I think you always expect the team that loses to come out with a little more focus and intensity right away. So I would stay away from the Suns in the first half of the first quarter, but I will play them for the game, obviously.
Nice. Yeah. Amir, your thoughts. Do we see a faster start out of Milwaukee tonight? What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think you could see a faster start from Milwaukee. If you're a fantasy guy, a lot of people coming in with Giannis's status were questionable to play him. Then he came out, they immediately got to him. He obviously slowed down throughout the game, only shooting 11 shots in the game, but at least like shooting out the gate. And now that they know that he seems like he can be a little bit more comfortable than most expected him to be as far as running the court. I think they're going to try and get him downhill a little bit more, especially with maybe having more limited options on offense with their possibles, like switching the lineup. So yeah, I definitely think that core group of Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis are all going to get after a little bit more because they know that, they're the group or whatever that they could have coming in to make up for the defensive lapses. They're going to need to be that much better scoring the ball. But yeah, I don't necessarily say that I would expect them to cover the first half, but as far as like first quarter cover, I think they have a better chance to get in that today than they did game 1.
I'm with you. I think that we're actually going to see a better game out of both teams tonight, right? So in game 1, I mean, obviously the Suns win by 13, but I didn't think that they were perfect, right? Like, I think that there are opportunities, as a whole, where the Suns can play a much better game in 2 than they did in game 1. And I definitely think that the Bucks do as well. So I'm going to jump right into my plays here. And this kind of goes into exactly what I'm talking about, right? So we did some research, took a look. The last 5 NBA finals where the home team won game 1, how many do you think that they won in game 2? And you know what? I'll answer that question for you. They won 4 of 5 in game 2. And in all 4 of those, they won by 10 plus points. Okay. So I'm not saying again that historically this has to align, but historically it does show that as of recent that the home team does come out and play better in game 2 than they did in game 1. Right. So my picks on this tonight are exactly that. Right. So I'm going to go with the Suns team total. I wrote it in game 1 over 112.5. I'm coming right back to it. Over team total 112.5 again tonight. I think that the Suns reach that. And I'm also going to ride the over on this game because what we saw, if we get, say, Phoenix exactly at 118 again, right? Like, I think that we're going to get more than 103 out of the Bucks tonight. So, yeah, I'm going to ride the Suns team total over 112.5. I'm going to ride the over. I got it at 219.5. Obviously, it's at 220.5. I still feel good, with that as well. Hey, guys, I throw this to you. After what I just said, Suns team total 112.5. Does anybody have any, heavy thoughts one way or the other? You're not going to hurt my feelings if you disagree with it. Amir, I'll throw it to you. We saw the Suns go for 118 in game one. Where do you kind of project that the Suns, fall points-wise tonight?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm leaning one way or the other. We're definitely given your finals info over the past 5. It definitely makes me think twice about the Suns ramping up their offensive production, especially now that they see obviously the Bucks are going to make adjustments, but they've kind of seen how the Bucks want to play them and how they're more comfortable. They've been more comfortable going under, so maybe they go and they've added layers to that to like countermeasures to whatever how the Bucks might make adjustments to today. But I think definitely they could get over that total again. And given the history, I think it makes a lot of sense for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Larry, your thoughts?
Well, I just think the whole thing is I think the Bucks are going to be much more aggressive, attacking the basket. I think, they were 13-21 within 4 feet, which is a very low percentage for them in this matchup in the regular season. They killed the Suns inside. I think you're going to see Giannis attack a lot early. They're going to try and get Ayton in foul trouble. I mean, without Ayton, it's Frank Kaminsky. So enough said. Ayton has to play 40 minutes. Or else the Bucks will have a big advantage inside. So I think that's what I'm going to look for. How are they calling it? How aggressive is Milwaukee, and are they having success attacking early at the rim?
Yep. Matt, any thoughts here? I think you're on mute.
I'm hoping we see plenty of Frank the Tank. It can't go wrong when Kaminsky's out there. Like I was hoping there's some props on him, honestly, but there aren't that I've found.
Yeah, I haven't seen any on him.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's a perfect segue right here. Let's talk props. Let's talk in this game. So, Amir, I'm going to throw it back to you. If we could pull up your picks you had tonight. You've got 3 props that you're on. Run us through these 3. Tell us who you like and why.
For sure. The first one I want to talk about, I think the best lock for today is Chris Middleton over 4.5 assists. He's right neck and neck with Giannis as far as assists per game. I think he'll likely be the Bucks player who'll play the most minutes. He played 45 minutes in game 1. We saw a lower workload from Giannis, obviously being a little bit cautious coming back from the injury. Drew Holiday was around 40. But if Giannis is coming out of that game and it's going to be Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton, Middleton is that secondary creator for them. He did have 4 assists in game 1, which is the first time that he'd actually dropped under 5 in 5 games. And so far during the postseason, he's gone over 4 assists in 61% of his games. So yeah, just given that and his heavy involvement in the offense, taking the reins from Drew Holiday from time to time, I think that's a good one to parlay with one of the plus money ones if you want to add a little bit more money to your pot. But yeah, definitely Chris Middleton is that's my favorite prop for sure. Nice.
All right, you run us through. You got DeAndre Ayton over 16.5. You've got Drew Holiday a double as well. Walk us through these. What do you see? What do you like? What makes you want to play these so good?
Yeah. First off, just going into DeAndre Ayton, his double odds were minus 200 in game 1, which has dropped to minus 320. Not nearly as desirable. But yeah, I think the points one is definitely a great one to play, especially if we look at Giannis coming in and if they're gonna cut down on their front court rotation. He's scored 17 in 5 of his last 7 games, averaging basically 16.5 per 36 minutes in the playoffs on 71% shooting. He's logged 36 minutes 6 times over his last 10 games and averaged 19 points per game during that time frame. So I don't know if they're going to ramp up Giannis's workload much more, but also, like you said, with Dario Saric out, it's very likely he's going to play 40+ minutes, foul trouble or not. When that first group comes out of starters, I think DeAndre Ayton, what the trend has been so far, he's played basically the entire first quarter for the most part. I wouldn't expect him that to change this time around. So yeah, I definitely like that that 16.5 points plot at plus 100 for him. And then lastly, moving over to Drew Holiday, he really did not have a good shooting game, shooting 4 for 14, but he's basically been a lock double-digit wise, and he hasn't dropped below 9 assists, I think, in the last like 4 or 5 games. So he's been right there. He's had a couple like flirting with like triple doubles over the last like 2-3 games as well. And then just Milwaukee not being comfortable with going to their backcourt. Sparingly, they'll play Jeff Teague and put Bryn Forbes in there, but those guys are not creating plays for others. So such a large chunk of the playmaking is going to be between Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday. Giannis's assist did go down. I was surprised to see the 17 rebounds from given his knee situation. But yeah, he's averaged 20 points and 10 rebounds per game since Antetokounmpo got hurt, hyperextended his knee in that Hawks game. So yeah, and his 7.8 assists per 36 minutes, I think make the prop well worth wagering if you're looking for a little bit more of a reach.
Yeah, I got to jump in on there. That's plus 155 on Drew Holiday, so I like that play. And I'm also on DeAndre Ayton over 16.5 at even money. You had that number about his scoring per 36 minutes really got me, because we all know that he's going to play more than that. So that's the one I love the most.
I like it. Yeah, good call. Now, Matt Severance, you've got a couple plays as well going in this. I believe you've got 2. If we could pull up Matt's picks of what he's got going on, walk us through these 2 prop plays that you have. Explain them. What are you writing? Why do you like them?
I have Pat Connaughton over 5.5 points. Can't remember last time I saw someone with so few points. Like we've talked about all day here, that if Lopez plays less, he's going to play more. He's going to play small ball 4 probably. He can't make 2 3-pointers. He played 28 minutes the other night. He's gone over that total 3 straight games. I think he's going to play 30 minutes at least. I think that's a steal, honestly. That's why the over's favored, but not by a lot. Which you could also link in a way under Brook Lopez, 12.5 points, but I don't love that as much. And my other pick is Devin Booker under 2.5 3-pointers made. He's only made more than once in the last 6 games, and he's only shooting 22% from deep in that span. I don't know if it's his broken nose or I never met. It's almost like we're in the old days in the 80s, because Booker and Paul are mid-range geniuses. It's like Michael Jordan all over again. You're supposed to hit 3-pointers to win, but they're hitting mid-range, and they're giving them the shots, so they're making them. So those are my 2 props for tonight. But Connaughton, I think, barring injury early, I think that's a steal.
Nice. I like it. Now, let's pull up the graphic. Let's look at the starting 5's point total for both teams. Let's walk through this while we're on props. Amir, while we have you, we know that you're going to be in the first half of the show, and we're bringing in our man, Jay Smooth, Justin Perri, for the second half of the show. So I definitely want to take a look at this. So if we could pull those starting 5s in terms of their point totals, let's put that up, and let's talk about it. So, Amir, I'm going to throw it over to you first, buddy. So we've got the Suns, we've got their 5, we've got their point totals. Obviously, you explained what you like, what props that you're on in terms of Middleton, his assists, Ayton over 16.5, and Drew Holiday on the other side in terms of a double-double. But when you look at this graphic, what do you see? What do you like? And again, not saying that you have to make anything a play, but just kind of what comes to your mind, whether over or under when seeing these 5 numbers.
Yeah, the main thing that pops out for me is Devin Booker, like we talked about not long ago, just how his shooting has been since breaking his nose. The 20.5 point total seems a little high for me. I don't doubt that he's going to continue to be aggressive. He's going to and make plays for others as well. But just get into that 30 point mark is seems like a little bit of a stretch. He shot 8 for 21 last game. So yeah, just given that's just been the trend like through like the rest of the Clippers series since he took the headbutt from Patrick Beverley and just moving forward. So yeah, I'm definitely down on that one, but I'm riding Chris Paul to go over again though. He's just giving them so many problems in the pick and roll until I see that the Bucks have figured out some kind of scheme to stop him. I think I'm going to keep going with Paul to get it done there.
Nice. Larry, throw it to you, buddy. What do you see?
Well, the one guy I wanted to talk about is not on there. Crowder 10.5. I mean, he was 0 for 8, 0 for 5 from 3-pointer, but he can come up with those big games once in a while. I'm staying away from him. And the 8 number, as we said, is up to 16.5 at William Hill. If you can find 15.5, I really love that over. But Cam Johnson, I mean, the guy is shooting 45% from deep. He's not on this because he's not a starter, but his props are up. He's shooting 45% from deep in the playoffs. 2 out of 4 last game. Could get a few more minutes without Soric. His point total went from 6.5 to 7.5. I know Mad Max is on it over. I mean, points, rebounds, assists. He has gone over that 4 straight home games, 5 of his last 6 overall. This guy's playing amazing. And I think he has another big game tonight, getting those open threes, which the Bucks tend to give up.
Nice. And before, Matt, I want to hear your thoughts on this. Let's get to 100 likes. We want to give out a sub. Let's get that out of the way right out of the gate so we can get to 200 with those 2 out there. So, Matt, take a look. Same question to you, buddy. What do you got here?
That's a good point by Larry. He kind of stole my thunder on Johns because of Dario Saric. I mean, he's only playing about 10 minutes, but, that 10 minutes has to go to someone. It'll probably be him. I'd under Crowder. He could definitely get hot, but he's only averaged 6.3 points per game on 27% shooting over the last 6. So if his first one doesn't go in, you're going to cash it because he's a guy. My first one goes in, I'm having a big night. First one misses, I'm not going to shoot anymore. So I do like the under on him. The rest, I honestly don't have a take on.
Okay, gotcha. Now let's pull up the other side of it. Let's pull up the Bucks. Let's see what their starting 5 looks like, and let's do the same. Let's walk through it because, again, I think we all think that Milwaukee's going to have a better game tonight, right? I mean, They have to. If they don't, then we really are looking at your boys, Suns in 4, right? Because they're going to have to play better, even though we know that they're going home for games 3 and 4. But, Amir, I'm going to throw it back at you, buddy. We're looking at the Bucks here. We know that you like Drew Holiday in terms of a prop that you're on the double-double. But, yeah, just taking a look at these 5 right here. What's first that comes to your head?
So far, I like Middleton given he took 26 shots, seemed like a lot for him to take. He paced the team in minutes with 45, and then seeing Giannis with 20 only on 11 shots. I think they're gonna continue to go for him. I think Holiday's shot is definitely gonna bounce back, but I think typically if they want to run plays for guys, Middleton is that next guy. If it's not going to be Giannis, so they're not comfortable driving him into the ground. The PJ Tucker 4.5 looks interesting, but yeah, then just to go back to, I think if they switch up the starting lineup and maybe throw Connaughton in there, like Matt was saying earlier, I really love the Connaughton play. Since the Giannis injury, he's been averaging 10 points per game over the last 3. Which is up from his 6.8 that he had during the regular season. So he's the guy if they switch up the lineup. But I'd say Middleton stands out the most for me, just given his volume from game 1.
Nice. Matt,
Amir, when you had a Holiday double-double, I know it doesn't matter for winning-wise. Do you like it as a points rebound or points assist one?
I like it as a point assist, but his rebounding, I
like over 4.5 rebounds on him, so I was wondering if that's why.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like that one. One of my props for game 1 was his over 5.5. Granted, that was when I thought Giannis wasn't going to be back initially for game 1, but he's definitely gotten a lot more active on the boards over the last couple games, and that's one of the nice things. Was like even if he doesn't quite get there assist wise, it's also he's been flirting around with those like 6, 7, 8 rebounds pretty consistently in recent games. So yeah, the 4.5 I think is definitely a steal on the rebounding prop as well.
Matt, any other thoughts? Any further?
Like comments? I said, I mentioned under Lopez earlier, just because I think if he doesn't start, he's going to play 15 minutes. I don't think he's going to get 14. You're not getting 14 shots again. That's not happening. So I do like the under on that.
And I'll just chime in on Lopez because he had 17 points and 6 rebounds, which looks like a great line, and he was minus 17, the worst of any Buck defender. But I will say, just a note of caution, there was a point in the last series where I thought that Lopez was kind of going to get sidetracked, and then he exploded for 33. But that was against the Hawks, non-existent defense. Capella was hurt with the eye and was not himself that night. I mean,
played down low, yeah.
Yeah, against DeAndre Ayton, I don't think that's going to happen, that same type of domination.
Nice. Now, as we say goodbye to Amir, buddy, so glad to have you on the team. Glad to have you on the show. We love it, man. Can't wait to see you again. We're going to bring in Justin Perri here, your boy, Jay Smooth. We love it. Now, let's do this. We've hit 100 likes. All right, we're there. Look, Justin's been here 1 second. Amir carried the load there for the beginning. We get to 100. Let's announce our winner. I believe it's Dakar Paid in Full. I think that's how you pronounce it. Dakar Paid in Full. You are our winner. Congratulations. Everybody, make sure in the chat now. We want to get to 200 likes. We want to give away 2 free subs. Put in your pick for who wins tonight with the spread. You going with the Suns. You going with the Bucks. That's all you got to do. Put in your handle. Put in the team that you're taking, that you're riding with the spread. As you do that, Justin, good to see you, buddy. How we doing?
Oh, I'm doing well. Getting notifications that my Rockies and Arizona play is scoring a couple runs. We need about 3 more to cash the over. So pretty good right now in the top of the 6th, but excited for my other 2 plays tonight. Hopefully you guys have been having a good show. It's always kind of fun joining in on the party a little late, but how are y'all doing?
We're doing great, man. Everybody's doing well. Look, we got Larry here, Matty Boy, breaking it down. I mean, we're having a great show. Now, Larry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, Justin, because there's a lot of people here that probably aren't SportsLine members and are not sweating the same games we're sweating, but Maddie and I both are on the Mariners, so we're sweating that one right now as well. And, all our picks are on the site, and a lot of our picks are on the Early Edge show as well. Sorry, Allan. Take it away.
No, you're good, buddy. I love it, man. Now, let's bring everybody back in terms of, Justin, what your picks were from this morning. As you said, Rockies, Diamondbacks over 9.5. Now, the Blue Jays, you got about the run line, 1.5. Did that game just get postponed? Is that what I saw?
Yep, it's off. Yep.
Okay, so that's off the board. Now, you also had Twins and Tigers over 9.5. So now that we kind of, reviewed what you had this morning, you're kind of there in terms of your Major League Baseball plays, but let's bring it back, to what I tell you what, let's do this. Let's look at Max's picks of what he has. And then Justin, I'm going to throw it to you for Major League Baseball so we can do that. So yeah, Mad Max, he's on DeAndre Ayton, over 30.5 points, rebounds and assists at -110. Forbes over 4.5 points, -130. Cam Johnson over 7.5 points. And he's also on Royals at Indians, no run first inning, plus money, +110. So Mad Max, we got his picks, and that's a perfect segue, Justin. Walk us through what we've got on the board today, Major League.
When do we get graphics?
You got to have a nickname like Mad Max.
Breakfast Club or something. I don't know. I'll come up with something.
Yeah, Mad Max is just that good, man. He's just that good. He deserves it. So, Justin, I throw it to you. We've got your picks and what you've got, right?
Yeah.
But the question that that I love to throw at you and McClure every single time that I get both of you on. When you were looking at this board today, all right, what games stood out to you that you necessarily didn't make a play on, but you almost made a play on? Like what just didn't make the cut, but you kind of liked?
Yeah, so, that's always an interesting one because the way that the numbers come out, you could always play things at like very slight units to adjust to edge sizes, but we don't really do that too much. It can be a little complicated to sort of bear with all those like smaller plays and understand all that stuff. But, something that I was pretty interested in was, the wind blowing in for the Cubs-Phillies game tonight. But again, it's hard to sort of go to that one because you've seen some of the scoring that's been going on in that series, but an under wouldn't really shock me there. And then the hitting conditions for Citi Field tonight are also above average for there. But it's a pretty tough place to take it over. It's been one of the best under fields in baseball. And you have Taijuan Walker, who's, been pitching like immaculately in that stadium. So with the Pirates on the mound, it's pretty tough. But, I think if you wanted to maybe play something there, it wouldn't shock me if the Mets maybe get some scoring going. Brubaker did not look that great in his last time out, and the Mets could back their guy up tonight. So maybe that's a way to lean. I wouldn't go putting like a whole unit on something like that, but a small play, it wouldn't shock me if the Mets get some scoring tonight.
Now, Matt, you've got a play here on the Phillies game as well. Let's just stick with it. What are you seeing? What do you like? What do you put some money on?
Actually, I could piggyback on his total now because Bryant, Baez, and Contreras are all out for the Cubs. So I'm jumping on the Phillies for sure to win now. I'm a Cubs fan. I don't think they solved anything last night by all their problems. I might even take the run line, it's a high number. But now I'm, like he said, the wind's blowing in. Their 3 best offensive players are out. I wonder if the total will go down to 7 or not. But you got me thinking about the total now, so I may have to jump on that as well. But I definitely like the Phillies now.
Nice. Now, somebody brought up a comment in the comments. They brought up a good question, and I want to throw it to you guys. And this could be for Major League Baseball, could be NBA tonight, right? Gregory Leshner asked, any good live bets, gentlemen? So let's focus on the NBA. Let's bring it back to that. Obviously, we don't know until the game starts, where to go in terms of live bets. But I'm going to throw the question out to you, okay? So game 1, we saw, Larry, like you said, the Bucks started out nice, but the Suns really took over. They won the first quarter. They won the first half, covered both of them. Larry, and I'm going to ask you first on this. What kind of scenario would you look for, let's just say first half, just kind of beginning of the game, right, of what you would look for in terms of where you could find maybe some nice value? And again, I understand we've got to be in the moment. You've got to kind of know and see the numbers, et cetera. But, are you expecting, say Bucks start out hot, but you like the Suns to win that game, and you might be able to get a better price on that, say if they start, 8-2 run, 9-3 run, something like that. Just kind of general thoughts there, Larry, that I throw to you.
Yeah, no, I love the adjustments Monty would make at halftime, and I would love to get a Suns price that's less than -4, or even, just to pick them. So yeah, if the Bucks get up early, by 8 or 10, and we get that kind of line, that's something I would look to jump on. Yeah.
Nice. Justin, same question.
Yeah, just to sort of echo what Larry says, it's really about how basketball is played, right? It's a game of runs. Teams are going to go back and forth. We saw the Suns extend a pretty large lead in game 1, right? It got close to 20 points. And in the fourth quarter, it was nowhere near that. I do believe the Suns won the first 3 quarters, and then the Bucks made some pretty decent progress in the fourth. But again, that's sort of how I would approach it. I would watch the game pretty closely. I'd never live bet if I'm not paying attention. But what you need to do is see if there's a point where maybe one team makes a run that feels a little bit out of place. You can get a line better than maybe what it's been at for most of the game. If they're jockeying around +5, +3, and then all of a sudden, one team makes a 10-point run, there's usually going to be some value in that type of number. So that's when you want to start paying attention. The baseball equivalent of that is basically if you see a pitcher maybe start not throwing very well, that's always a very interesting point to take baseball live bet. But that's how I approach things.
I like it. Severance?
Honestly, I don't live bet basketball or baseball at night. I'm too busy with my charities. I have soup kitchens, I save kittens, stuff like that at night. So I don't really have the time for the live betting. But no, honestly, the only time I live bet is football, when you can kind of all week, and you're sitting there all day, and or I'm working, I guess. But so yeah, honestly, I'm not the one to ask on these. To be honest,
it's very tough.
I'll tell you what. I mean, we all appreciate your philanthropic, efforts. Man. So, I mean, we're just going to let you slide on that one, but just because of all the good you're doing in the community. Now, we got another question here. I want to highlight this. All right, so my man Kevin Cassidy asked, and he did ask this to me on Twitter, but I want to put this, and I saved it for the show because I want you guys to kind of go through this. Now, he's asking about Chris Paul first quarter points over 3.5. All right, it's priced at -104, so obviously affordable there. But we know that the Suns, have in the past historically sat CP3 in the first quarter, just for a little bit. I mean, just what are your thoughts here, Justin? I'm gonna throw it to you first. When you see this question, kind of where does your mind go, right out of the gate?
Yeah, I mean, usually with a line like that, you're probably looking for a couple of buckets. Then he's not really going to be someone who plays all that much in that first quarter. They're usually going to rest him close to like 7 minutes so that he can play the end of the game. And you're giving a player 5 minutes to hit a couple shots, and he's probably going to be looking to distribute, not really cutting into the defense too early, forcing those like tough buckets at like the last minute when he needs to find a shot. He can become that shot creator for this team as the clock winds down, but that's probably not going to be the scenario in the first. Honestly, just to stay away, I probably lean to the under because it just feels like it would be too easy to go over.
Okay. Now I'm going to throw it to you two guys, but first I want to say, let's get to 200 likes. Put in the chat your handle and who you are taking tonight, spread-wise, Suns or Bucks. That's all you got to write, your handle, and who you like, Suns or Bucks. Make sure, smash that like button. Let's get to it. Let's get to 200 so we give 2 free years away. Larry, I throw that same question over to you.
Yeah, as our buddy Sean in the comments points out, CP3 probably going to play the first 6 or 7 minutes and then sit the rest of the quarter, and Booker and Ayton, can go the whole quarter. So, it looks great when you see a line of 20.5, 21.5, and they're giving you over 3.5 in the first quarter. But I think, the way he's been scoring, I think he'll look to set people up. I'd stay away, but I don't blame you if you want to play it. It looks damn appetizing at 3.5.
Yeah, it does. It's 2 buckets, right? It is nice. Like I don't have, an opinion. You guys are much more intelligent at what you just broke down in terms of CP3 and his usage in the first quarter. It's one of those where it's fun, because you can just throw a little bit of money on it. And again, you don't need a whole lot, right? It can happen for sure. Now let's stay in the NBA. Let's reset. Let's bring it back. Let's take a look again. What we have tonight, we've got spread at 4.5 now. Suns at home, total 220.5. Kind of hovering around there. So let's just take a look at the spread first and foremost. So Larry, I'm going to put this to you first, and we're going to go obviously Justin and Matt as well. But we both like the spread. I didn't play it. I'm on the Suns team, total 112.5, and I'm on the over. I got it at 219.5. But I think that we feel good with the Suns. And again, this is just a general question, Larry, based off the information that you had, based off the information that I had. We saw the Suns score 118 points in game 1. Do they score over or under 118 in game 2?
Well, if you're telling me I have to bet that, I would definitely bet that under with the total of 220. It's telling you they're going under. They shot mid-range. They shot those amazing, but Booker was 1 of 8, I believe, from 3-point range. Crowder didn't hit a shot. Johnson and Payne played well off the bench. I think we're looking at something similar, but I would definitely go under 118.
Sure. Yeah. And I wasn't, putting that on you to make a play on it by any means. Just taking a look at this game, right? Do we see the Suns, exceed what they did in game 1? Do they kind of fall back? Do we think that the Bucks, I think we all kind of feel that the Bucks are going to have a better game 2 than they did in game 1. So Justin, I throw the question to you, right? It's an open-ended, you don't have to make a play on anything. And we didn't get your initial thoughts, just on the game. So you could take it total, wherever you want to go. Just what are your thoughts on what we see tonight in game 2?
Sure. Yeah, no, I think I have some contrarian views tonight. I think it's going to go under. So I agree with Larry there. I do think that the Bucks are maybe going to do worse. I think you saw maybe something that might not have been what really is going to be the same performance as last time. They shot decently well. I don't think they're going to have a great shooting night. 44.4% from 3 for the Bucks is just almost tough to replicate given the way that they played. It's felt like to me that the Bucks hit a couple tough shots and the Suns missed a couple easy shots. I actually really like the quality of the looks that the Suns were getting all game. And like you said, a couple key guys missed a lot of buckets from behind the arc. So, if that doesn't happen again, I could see the Suns getting that total, but the game maybe going under. I don't think the Bucks perform that well. If I had to take a pick, I'm definitely going to be on the Suns against the spread.
That's fascinating, because, kind of my thought, and look, more about it than I do, in terms of, it's interesting to hear that, right? Because the Bucks, quite frankly, kind of had an awful game 1, right? If you just look at, kind of how, the point distribution, et cetera, things like that. In my head, I automatically assume that I think that they have a better game 2, but that doesn't mean anything. My head is banana land, right? So it's interesting to hear you say that. Matt, I throw the same question at you. Just in terms of this game, what do you think that we see out of game 2 tonight? I think you're on mute, buddy.
Rookie, sorry. I'm typing in my picks, too, as I see all this breaking news.
Well, apparently
try to focus on the show, Matt, for 1 hour.
I'm trying to get the picks out, too. I got to get them down. Just from our partners at William Hill, I'll give you some trends they have. Someone just bet $180,000 on the Suns on the spread. It would pay out $343,000.
Not just that, they did that a while ago because they got it at 5.5. If that ends on 5, they are going to be pretty steam.
Pretty crazy.
84%
of the money is on the Suns on the spread. 61% of the tickets on the money line. It's about 80% on the Suns, and on the total, it's about 50%, 54% on the over. But like Justin, I lean the under because I think the defensive adjustments and Giannis can't shoot threes, or Giannis, whatever. Tomato. He can't shoot threes or free throws, so I'm generally always going to lean under.
Well, I'll tell you what, with Giannis, that's a perfect segue. We've got a question in the chat here. What do you guys think about Giannis over 39.5 points and rebounds? Larry, I'm going to throw it right to you. Just what are your initial thoughts seeing that question?
I guess I would lean over. What did he get? He had 20 and what did he have? 20 and
17
and 17 in the first game. You got to expect him to be a little bit better in this game. He's definitely going to be super aggressive. He's going to attack more. Lean over, but I'm not going to play it.
Matt?
I'd lean under. How do we know? Can he play more than 35 minutes yet? Do we know that? Do we know how his knee's feeling after, So, one little tweak. I mean, that's one thing. I'm always an under guy kind of on season totals if a guy gets hurt. But if a guy's a little bit hurt in a game total, I tend to lean under just for that reason.
I got you. All right, Justin, before we get to you, I want to announce that, well, I'll tell you what. Nope, let's go to you. I want to hear it. Yeah, your thoughts on that.
No, I definitely think that you want to play the under for exactly the reasons that Matt listed. I mean, he is an injury risk. You do not know how they're going to handle his minutes, what it's going to be like at any given sign. If the Suns are running away with this, do they continue to push Giannis out there and see if he can try to make a comeback? Or, do they let him maybe rest up and only play 20 minutes tonight and try to come back at this for game 2, 3, and 4? So, yeah, I don't really like playing that total at all. But if I was going to play it, I'd go under.
Nice. All right. So first off, everybody in the chat, let's get to 200 likes. We want to give 2 free subs away. Larry has been telling us all day that he can't wait to give out 2 of them. He's been telling the whole team. So make sure, don't let the maestro down. Let's get to 200 for sure. But going off of that, let's kind of reset ourselves. Let's take a look at our picks that we have for today. So I'm going to throw mine out first, and we'll get to you guys. I'm going with the Suns team total over 112.5. Again, wrote it in game 1. I'm going to ride it in game 2. I think that they hit that. I'm also going to ride. I've got the over 219.5. Obviously, it's at 220.5 now. I feel good about that. And the reason being is that the home teams that won game 1 of the NBA Finals in the last 5, 4 of them won game 2, and all 4 of them won that game by 10+ points. And I'm going to add one more caveat into that. All four of those teams, they scored more in regulation in game 2 than they did in game 1. So I'm not saying that history always repeats itself, but I kind of like the historicals in this. So those are the 2 that I am writing. I like both of those. Larry, you've got your boy Danny Duffy. Now, do we have a weather situation with the Royals? We've got weather all over the place. Update us here. What are we going at?
Matt told me that there's an issue with that game with the rain, and I really hope it doesn't get canceled because I already got one play scratched where they scratched the pitcher, but that game was rained out. But somebody is asking about Danny Duffy strikeouts. I laid a heavy price, -158, under 5.5. I would take under 4.5 at plus money, Anthony. I see that question. They're bringing him back from injury. Look at his pitch counts. The pitch count, 62 pitches the first outing back, 69 pitches the second outing back, 2 Ks in each game. Facing an Indians team that is probably going to have 8 right-handed batters against him, which plays against his splits. So, 4 would be a winner for both of us. He went 4 1/3. I doubt he's going to go more than 5. So, yeah, I still like it at under 4.5. Not as much, obviously, as 5.5, but for plus money, worth a shot.
Nice. All right, and you're on the Suns. You got the spread at -5.5. Obviously, it's 4.5. As of now, but you still feel good, obviously, with that. Severance, I'm going to throw it to you. You got 2 prop plays. You got Pat Connaughton over 5.5 points, and you've got Booker under 2.5 3-pointers. Walk us through those 2. What are you seeing?
Well, as I said earlier, I think the Connaughton one's a lock unless he sprains his ankle in the first quarter. He's going to play probably 30 minutes with Lopez, probably getting less time. They need more 3-point shooting as it is. I think that's stealing, honestly. I'm not as high on the Booker one, but as I said, only once has he gone over, had more than 1 made 3-pointer in the last 6 games. So, you got to ride the wave as you can. That's why I like that one.
I love it. Hey, we're all about riding waves here. We want to get some wins and ride that wave tonight. So, Justin, before I throw it to you on your picks, I want to make sure everyone, let's get to 200 likes. Also, continue to put in the chat your handle as well as who you are taking spread-wise tonight. Bucks or Suns, that's all you have to write. The team, your handle. Let's continue to do that. We want to give a sub away on that one as well. So, Justin, I throw it over to you. Obviously, we've had some weather issues going on in terms of Major League Baseball. You're on the Rockies Diamondbacks over 9.5 right now. Blue Jays, their run line. We've seen the weather that's been postponed. Tigers Twins over 9.5. Walk us through, buddy, what you've got still left and why you like it.
Yeah, I mean, if you see me glancing off over here, it is coming down in New York. It does not shock me at all that the Mets and the Pirates aren't going to go. I've had some like lightning strikes within a quarter mile. It's been kind of cool. But no, my play is going to be on those Tigers and the Twins. I don't really trust either pitcher. Hard to choose a side. I did actually like the Minnesota Twins side. I know we have a couple guys, maybe even on this show, going that way. But, J.A. Happ has been a little rough around the edges, even though he does perform better at home. And Tariq Skubal, again, a young pitcher going on the road against, some pretty serious in-division competition. So I do like this one to see some runs both times that they've started playing against each other, whether it be in their early 3-game series or their quick 2-game series. Both those games went over when they started. So I do think that this one has some offensive potential. The Tigers have been quietly above 500 in their last 60 games or so. So, I think you're getting a little value because the market still hasn't adjusted to just how much this team is hitting under the radar.
Nice. Now, Matt, you've got a live play. Speaking of the Twins and Tigers, walk us through it, buddy. What are you taking and why do you like it?
I've actually won on the Twins in the under the last 2 days, but the model, I think he's right on the over here. For one thing, Josh Donaldson will play for Minnesota. That's a big bat in the lineup. The model likes Detroit here with 11 runs scored, but I think Donaldson puts it over. The Twins lead the majors in homers against lefties and are number 2 in slugging. So I think they're gonna knock Skubal around, even though Minnesota's not playing great at the moment, and Detroit is playing a lot better.
I like it. Now, if we could, let's bring up our man, Mad Max. I want to take a look at his plays again for what he has tonight. And then we're also going to look at Amir's plays. I want to see his as well before we kind of wrap this thing up. So if we could get Mad Max's plays on the screen, let's take a look. And Larry, I'm going to let you walk through these. And again, we're not questioning them by any means, but what do you see? What do you like? And anybody, feel free to chime in here. We see his 4 plays. Larry, walk us through it. What he's on, what you like. Yeah, shoot, go ahead.
Well, I like the Ayton play obviously because I love Ayton tonight. But you could go to his Twitter feed at Max Gorenstein and read all of his write-ups there. I got to work with him on some of those typos. He's a young kid, so we still have some rough edges. But I do want to say one thing. I think his last couple plays on Twitter haven't hit, and Max. He plays a lot more than that. So I'm taking the reins off. I'm saying, Max, any play that you're betting personally, feel free to post it. So we're just getting going with him. So I think you're going to see a lot more plays from Max. Like today he had Frankie Montas over on the strikeouts that cashed easily, but it wasn't a play that he put up. So now I think he's frustrated about that. I don't know if he's watching right now, but he hates to lose, obviously. And hates
it's his bedtime.
Yeah, it's probably bedtime, but he is in Chicago, so it's a little earlier. But anyway, you're going to see a lot more of his plays. I'm going to take the reins off of Mad Max.
I love it. He needs the reins taken off. Our man needs to run free. Now, Justin, I'm going to throw it to you, and Matt, feel free to chime in as well. Just what you saw there, DeAndre Ayton, or just any initial thoughts. And again, we're not criticizing or cutting down like anybody's picks, or you might love them, right? Like we're just taking a look at all options and where they're at. So you guys, really quickly, don't have to, go deep on it. Anything that you saw that you like, from Max's picks.
Sure. Yeah. No. First, I'm just going to defend Max because Larry and Matt still have to fix my typos too. So it's all going to be okay. And we all sort of have that type of issue when we're trying to write up picks and get everything correct, and you think you've written something. So it's not as always as easy as it looks, even though it might seem that way. But anyway, no, I really like the Ayton play. I think the Cam Johnson play also hits again. This is going to be a game that I think you can trust the Phoenix Suns players to get what they are projected to. I wouldn't really be going on the overs for the Bucks very much. But yeah, I think this is probably going to be a pretty good night for Max's picks. I don't really have anything to go against. Maybe a little bit of concern for that no-run first innings play. Both the Indians and the Royals can struggle with pitching at times, so we'll see.
Nice. Matt, any quick thoughts there?
I like the Cameron Johnson one.
Nice.
I haven't met Max yet, so I'm look forward to that.
I love it. Now, let's pull up. Let's take a recap of all of our picks, what we have before we end the show. And again, everybody make sure, get to that 200. We only have a couple minutes left. Fire them out. Let's get there so we can give 2 subs away before we go. But here are the live plays that we have. I'm on the Suns, team total over 112.5. Bucks, Suns over 219.5. Justin, Twins, Tigers over 9.5. Larry, Duffy under 5.5 strikeouts. We got a situation, obviously, in terms has that been postponed or we're just watching it? Correct, right?
Yeah, not postponed yet.
Okay, all right, perfect. Suns, you're on the spread. DeAndre Ayton over 16.5. Matt, you're on. You're on. Connaughton over 5.5 points. Devin Booker under 2.5 3-pointers. You're also on the Phillies money line live right there.
So the Twins too.
Yeah, Twin, absolutely. Yeah. Let me make sure that we get that as well. Now, for our giveaway here, all right, for who we had in terms of picking the spread, Bucks or Suns, we've got a winner to give out. Keener199. Keener199, you are our winner. Congratulations. Welcome to the SportsLine team. We're really glad to have you. Congrats, man. So as we wrap up the live show, any final thoughts before we get to the most important part? Any parting shots? Larry, Matt, Justin, anybody? Yeah, feel free to rip.
I'm just, I'm about to cash my overplay for this Rockies Diamondbacks. So that's pretty nice to see to start off my little 4-day run on the Early Edge morning show. I like to always keep a nice record when I'm on the podcast. So loving to see that. But yeah, I'm really excited for this Suns game. I do think that the Suns are going to take a 2-0 lead, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's closer than game 1. So if the Bucks get down early, I don't hate a big number live on the Bucks to bring it back close.
Beautiful. Larry?
Being on the Suns and Ayton, my biggest fear is foul trouble, and I actually haven't even checked the reffing crew, which I want to check as soon as we get off. I want to look at the officiating crew, and but that's to me the biggest fear of what could go wrong for my plays, which is kind of always how I look at things, is fearing the worst, dreading the worst, and early foul trouble for Ayton with Giannis attacking and them giving him some calls is what could derail it.
See, that's spoken like a true gambler right there. When you've got chaos and nightmare theories built in to what you don't want to see, I absolutely love it. Severance, throw it to you finally, last but certainly not the least. Any final parting shots that you have?
Yeah, it'll be on the site this weekend, but Joey Gallo plus 450 to win the home run derby.
Ooh, nice.
I like it.
I like it. So,
Matt, I was so upset last night because I believe he hit 2, and I had the Rangers and the stupid Rangers, and they walk him with the bases loaded. Brilliant move because nobody else could hit.
Yep.
Well done.
Just give up 1. It's more than you're going to get with Joey Gallo batting.
I love it. So, everybody, we can't thank you enough for tuning in. For Larry, for Justin, for Matt, for the coach, who will have him back certainly, obviously, on the live show the next time that we have it. Hopefully, man's a busy man, but you could catch him in the mornings, obviously, and we will see everyone tomorrow on the Early Edge. But it wouldn't be without saying this, and I know it's a morning show thing, but we're going to do it for good luck because we're hitting some bets tonight. You've all got your marching orders. Let's take it straight to the pay window. Thank you, guys.
Do you want best bets in your feed every single day? All you have to do is hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Early Edge.